Adam and Eve, they were not dropped off in the parking lot of a restaurant. They were dropped off in a garden. Y'all didn't hear that. Mm-hmm. The only thing that you can get out of a garden is fruits and vegetables. So we can add to it. We'll never get the hood right until we get the home right. We can add to that. We'll never get the home right until we get our health right. And we won't get our health right until we start eating real food that came from God himself. Not this industrialized commodity with a barcode and a bag on it, good tasting plastic posing ass food. And I'm going to tell you something, brothers and sisters. We can't do real work on fake food. If you want to do real work, you got to eat real food. Whenever Pastor Ballard, whenever I was looking at something, as you were talking, I was thinking about a verse, because as I was listening to my brother, I know that whenever you are trying to shepherd a flock, and you're trying to guide that flock in a creative way that is outside the traditional box that church has been put in, by having barbershops, by having nursery, by having programs, by opening up the doors for meetings of this kind, having the spiritual maturity to see beyond labels and titles and think about real work. I know that in order for him to be able to do that, he has to be operating from a certain kind of heart. And I was thinking about you as you were talking, because I still hear the same great strength that you probably had when you started the ministry. But most of the time, when we go to cities and meet heads of organizations, heads of churches, they're operating, but they are operating on a kickstand.
Right.
And I read a verse in the Bible in the book of Matthew 26:41. Jesus was talking to the disciples that had fallen asleep on the post when they were supposed to be awake, while he stepped away for a few hours, and they couldn't even stay awake the whole night. And Jesus came back and said unto them, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. I said, man, that's a pretty sad state to be in. This means for the spirit to be willing, that we are excited. We have the enthusiasm. We have the desire. We have in our mind the plan, the program, but because we don't have the proper health to carry the idea, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is not weak. Therefore, we never see our agenda make it to the finish line. So I'm saying to us that we won't get the hood right until we get the home right. And we won't get that home right until we get the health of that home right. We got to start eating right and taking care of ourselves again, so that the spirit can be willing and the flesh can be willing, and we can begin to make things happen that we plan as an agenda. What do y'all think about that? The home really has always been the power base of the black nation. This is why whenever a man named Napoleon was hired in 1798 by the European rulers of that time, he was commissioned to travel all over the earth and destroy every image of black excellence. He went inside of all of the universities, the mystery schools, the temples, the pyramids. Anytime he seen an image of black excellence, he made sure that he destroyed it. So now, if I say close your eyes, and I just say Moses, we don't see a black man. We see some long bearded white man in a robe and a big stick in his hand. If I close your eyes and I said angels, we don't see men and women walking around on the earth. We see little white people with Victoria's Secret outfits on with chicken wings on their back. And the worst of all, if you close your eyes, I don't care how much red, black, and green you you got on, how tight your bow tie is, how much headdress, how long your locks are. If I say Jesus, and if we would be honest, the first image that popped up in our mind is not a black man that had hair like lamb's wool and feet like brass burned in the oven, like the scripture says. We began to see that image that Michelangelo drew of his cousin, a Caucasian, buttermilk complected, brown or blue-eyed, brunette or blonde-haired white boy that's an imposter Jesus. This is because Napoleon trained all of the weaponry to destroy all images of black excellence. Did you know that Moses was a black man? Yes. First of all, he was in Egypt, wasn't he? Yeah. In the scripture it says that Moses stuck his hand in the bosom of the Lord, and when he took it out, it was turned white. Well, if it was turned white, it had to go in black. Job said, I am black, my skin is black. Solomon said, I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem. And Solomon was David's son. So David was black. Didn't Jesus say that I am of the seed of David according to the flesh? The root of Jesse? Well, if Solomon is the seed of David and he's black, David's black, and Jesus is coming up in that same seed, he's got to be black too. But they destroyed all of these images. So they have now, Pastor, they've gone, a great scientist among us by the name of Dale Jones took a group of black people and put them under a sophisticated EEG machine to measure the effect that lies have on the black psyche. Wow. Christopher Columbus discovered America. That's a lie. How do you discover something that's already here with people already on it? Now, you found some people there, whoever got there first discovered it, but you wasn't at one. And they looked at the damage that was caused in between the synapses in the brain, and they said, that's a lie that has an effect. Wow. But do you know after they did the math of the various lies that have been told to us over our sojourn in America, the most destructive lie that has ever been told to the black mind was that Jesus was a white man. Why? Because once we think Jesus is white, logic circuits begin to take over. If Jesus is white and he's the Son of God, that means that if God is his Father and the Son is white, then the Father has to be white too. And if the Father is white and the Father is God, and God is love and God is good, and I'm black, which, wait a minute, black is the opposite of white. Well, if black is the opposite of white, then I'm the opposite of God. I'm the opposite of good. I'm the opposite of love. And even though we never said this out loud, it's definitely programmed in our subconscious mind. If it wasn't, it wouldn't be so easy for us to kill one another in the streets of Omaha and all over the United States of America. Self-hatred runs rampant in our community. But Napoleon, he didn't stop there. He came to the last living wonder of the world, the Great Pyramid Giza. It's in Egypt. It's 451 feet tall. It goes down underground 451 feet deep. It covers 13 and a half acres. It has 1 million blocks of gold, marble, and granite, each stone weighing 3.5 tons apiece, and they're stacked mathematically precise, north and south, east and west, up and down into the earth, not deviate, not even 1 square inch, and we built it without John Deere or Caterpillar, a bulldozer or a crane. Back then we had mind over matter psychokinesis, and we moved stone with thought. But when Napoleon came to the base of that pyramid, he seen this object that is known as the Sphinx. But if you notice, the Sphinx, the lips and the nose are missing. When we were in school, we asked, why is the lips and nose missing? And the little history teacher said to us, he said, well, it's just because you got to realize this is in the desert. And sandstorms blow. And when sandstorms blow, they could blow off some of the features of the stone. So it's just natural erosion and storms over time and aging. I said, well, hell, why come the tail didn't age? Why come the ears are still okay? Why only the nose and the lips? And the reason only the nose and the lips are removed is because on the face of the Sphinx was a broad nose like a black man's nose and thick lips like black people have. And what they did not want us to know is what our ancestors were trying to send us by the way of image association. See, if the lion is the king of the jungle, and our ancestors put our head on the lion, at the base of the last living wonder of the world, then we might begin to think, well, wait a minute, if my head is on the king of the jungle, maybe my ancestors are trying to tell me I'm the king of this planet. And whenever you think you're the king, and know you are a queen, it's hard to make a slave out of somebody like that. But then Napoleon, he didn't stop there. He went into the Pyramid Giza. And now when you go inside of there, every time you see one of the images of one of the African male gods, you'll see where somebody's been scraping whatever used to be next to them on those walls. So now when you go in, you'll see Osiris scraping. You'll see Osar scraping. You'll see Alafum, and then you'll see somewhere where someone's scraping next to it. What were they removing? See, there never was a time that we believed that we could be a real man if we didn't have a real woman. And there never was a time in our history that we believed that we could be a real happy and healthy woman without having a real happy, healthy man in our life. So the original structure of the pyramids never put Osiris without Isis. Never had Alafum without his queen, Illidan. And never had Osar without his wife, Aset. What were they trying to tell us? Not behind, but beside every strong black man has always been a strong black woman. The black family is the power base of black people.
Yes, sir.
I said, there's three things that you noticed that you didn't see. Number one, you didn't see Osiris with another man. What, am I saying something wrong? You didn't see Illidan with another woman. Man was with a woman, woman was with a man. Second thing, none of them were boyfriend and girlfriend. This was their wives. But you know what? We did a word search over 200 translations of the Bible and 72 translations of the Quran, and we looked up the word boyfriend and girlfriend. Pastor Ballot, we couldn't find it nowhere. I said, well, hell, if the word boyfriend and girlfriend not in no translation of no scripture, that means that boyfriend and girlfriend is not in the language of God. Question is, whose language is it then? Third thing we notice is that not one of them that was a black male African god was with a white girl.
No. Speak on it. Speak on it.
So I'm saying it's going to hit the mind of the black man once. Yeah. But if you hear that statement that you didn't want to say, that you had, if you had said it would have caused trouble, and you just say, that's right, go ahead, teach on that class. Amen. You bear witness to it. Then you produce what's called a ricochet. That means that he hears the word once, and then when you say, that's right, go ahead, teach on that class, then the word bounces back on him, and it doubles the absorption capacity of the black man's subconscious mind. Take it. And the third thing, sisters, that we noticed, no boyfriend, no girlfriend, man was with a woman, and was not one of the African gods with a white girl.
Here. Sit right here. Let me take that from you.
You know, every so often they devise what's called the ICD-9 book, which is a book that really doctors use to describe medicine to people. These doctors that's in the hospital, these aren't real doctors. They're pharmacologists. They are legal drug dealers. What? Am I saying something wrong? They're kingpin status too. They send you to the trap house. Walgreens, CVS, that's a trap. And you can leave with a stick up on some hand sanitizer, but it's still a trap house. And the doctor don't hold no dope, do it. You come in, you just scribble something. Yeah, you take that to the back. As soon as they see it, they know what to get. Then you walk out with a bag, stapled all up, with your dope in it. Did you know that the third leading cause of death in the United States of America is medical mistakes? Only after heart disease and cancer, then hospitals that make misdiagnosis or prescribe things wrong. That's the number 3 cause of death in the United States. I said, well, since they get to put, every so often they redo the ICD-9 book and they put different diseases in there, I said, I want to introduce a disease called Beckery. Beckery. Y'all remember Beyonce's song? Name? Becky with the... Come on, what is Beckery? Beckery is the mental and emotional castration of a black man that comes from a long-term relationship with a white woman. Watch this. Watch what I say this and tell me if I'm right, sister. A black woman can tell when a black man is with a white woman, even if the white woman ain't with him. Am I telling the truth, sister?
Yes.
Watch this. And the reason you can tell is because you're a little more punctified. You're a little soft. Is this true? I'm going to tell you something. If you want to be a strong black man, you got to get you a strong black woman. She deserves us to maintain, protect, and provide for her. She's been the most loyal woman to us. More loyal than any other woman of any other nation of people on the planet. So we should be loyal to her and make sure we marry her. Y'all all right? So we're trying to get the home right. I got some more on this. I'm going to skip some stuff, okay? Y'all all right? Don't skip nothing. But I'm going to just take what you said here. Do you know in 1867, whenever Congress was meeting to discuss whether or not they were going to allow black people to go to colleges and universities, right before Howard University was being built to be a college for black people, they had a meeting to determine whether or not they were going to allow black people to go to college. Wow. And they came to the conclusion, they said, yes, we'll let them go, but they can't come to our schools. And 2, listen to this. Whatever school they set up, there's 3 sciences that must never be taught to the slaves. This is written in Congress in the Congressional Library in Washington, D.C. They said that black people must never be taught the science of warfare. We must never be taught the science of finance. And we must never be taught the science of mating. Now, when you look at black people's problems, you can find almost all of our problems listed under one of them categories. Either we got a relationship problem, we got a 75% divorce rate that show we don't know how to do mating properly. We killing each other more than we killing our enemy, and more than our enemies even killing us. That show we don't know warfare. And you know we can't know finance. Anytime we still blaming the white man for 95% of our problems and spending 97% of our money with them. We brought in $1.3 trillion last year. Do you know black people that out of 226 nations, That 1.3 trillion makes us the 8th richest nation on the earth. Mexico only brought in $637 billion, less than half of us. Yet they're taking care of 103 million people on a 761,700 square mile landmass with their own country. Spain got 46 million people like we do. They only brought in $700 billion, half of what we brought in, yet they're maintaining a 208,000 square mile landmass, and they have their own educational system. They have their own school, their own hospitals. They have their own world. You mean to tell me they can do what they're doing with half of what we got, and we got double, and we can't have black-owned businesses that we support? It's showing that we never were taught the science of finance. We've become the leaders in unnecessary spending. Go ahead. What is unnecessary spending? It's buying stuff you don't need with money that you don't really have, from people that you don't like, to impress people that you don't even know. That's unnecessary spending. Do you know right now, in the Asian community, a dollar remains in their community 28 to 30 days before it leaves. Among the Jews, they keep theirs for 17 to 21 days. Even our Latino family keeps their dollar among themselves for 14 days. But in the black community, we only keep our dollar in our community for 3 to 6 hours.
Oh, wow.
How many of y'all get direct deposit? Almost everybody, right? Don't they hit on Friday morning? And you work 8 hours, right? But if the dollar only stayed in our community 3 to 6 hours, the hell, that means before we even got off of work, they got the money back. They say that in the Asian and Jewish community, a dollar circulates 7 to 10 times before it leaves and goes to another community. But in the black community, our dollar only circulates 1/10 of one time. Hey, I don't think you can call that circulate. Circulate means circle. Got to at least make one lap. 1/10 of one time might be to 100. That's bad math. I don't got time to go into it, but just remember this. Put a pin in this and take this home with you. Our brains have been hardwired as a people to connect happiness to spending. We got to disconnect the hardwire in our brain from happiness, unplug it from spending, and plug it into saving and investing. And if we began to abandon retail therapy, did you know that the dopamine that is released from shopping is equal to the dopamine that is released from some hard drugs that are on the market? And when we go and shop, we buy, we like to hunt, we like to sell, we get the item, we bring it home, we unwrap it, and as we are unwrapping it, soon as we look at it out the bag, it has already lost almost 80% of its value to ourselves when we look at it. But our brain doesn't say, stop spending money stupid, you don't even need this stuff. Our brain says, you know what? The only reason why you feel like this is because you didn't spend enough money. You need to get you some Erie or some Eni or some Achi or some Uchi. And if you had got you some Erie, some Eni or some Uchi or some Achi, you would have been happy. We weren't taught the science of finance, and we were not taught the science of mating. So I want to share something with you, brothers and sisters, to wrap this up so that we can have really some news that you can use, some things you can put in your spiritual toolbox that when you leave, you can go home and build the kind of life you want to live. Because one of the worst things we could ever do is come to something and say, man, that meeting was something, and then go home and do nothing. When you come to a set like this, whatever you agree with, soon as you leave, you got to go home and begin to look inside of that house you live in and find out what's opposite of what I agreed to. And began getting rid of whatever's in that environment and converting that home into the appropriate spiritual environment that will facilitate what you've accepted. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So when you leave, you got to go home and you got to clean out that refrigerator. You got to throw away that plantation plate.
Because you are what you eat. There's a diet for a slave. There's a diet for a God. Did you know that food affects mood? And that whenever we eat food, the thing that is done is digested, which means that solid is turned into liquid or chemical. Whatever's in the food, the nature of that food integrates inside of the blood. The blood begins taking it to the brain, and the brain is full of thoughts. Thoughts are not unreal. They're real. They're just unseen. But they are electromagnetic chemical energy. So whenever food is broken down to a chemical in the digestive system and is carried to the brain, then it begins to integrate and mix with the chemical composition of our thoughts. So even if we're thinking good, righteous, powerful thoughts, if we're eating bad and corrupt, toxic food, the toxic food will go into the mind and corrupt the tonic thought. And before long, our thinking becomes opposite of what it is. Did you know that whenever you want to have a regular horse that's just going to be a load-bearing horse, all you do is feed them hay and let them eat whenever they want? But if you want to make a stallion, a racehorse, same horse, only thing you got to do is feed it different. And just because the trainers feed, the racehorse eats no hay. They eat whole oats, whole corn, and they have their diet regulated at a specific time every single day. Thus, you produce a stallion by just changing the diet. Have you ever seen a queen bee? Have you noticed how big the queen bee is versus the other bees? Did you know the queen bee was not born or in the egg naturally going to be that size? The worker bees began feeding the queen bee in the larva stage something called royal jelly, which the worker bees, the males, produce with inside of themselves. It is a different composition than honey. Y'all healthy. Y'all been to see some royal jelly before, haven't you? Yeah. Honey is 82% carbohydrate, while royal jelly is only 18% carbohydrate. Very little sugar in royal jelly, but inside of royal jelly is protein, amino acids, carbohydrates, minerals, and vitamins are in it that are not found in honey. So just by the worker bees taking the egg and feeding that one egg royal jelly, that queen bee grows up to be 3 times the size, lives 5 times as long, more intelligent than the rest of the other bees, just by changing the diet. I submit to you, brothers and sisters, if we change our diet, we can go from being regular slaves to being the queen bee and the kings again. We got to change the diet. Y'all all right? In the Bible, there's a verse that lays out gender-specific commands on how a man can get the best out of his woman and how a woman can get the best out of the man. Did you know men and women are not the same? White people, they write books talking about men are from Venus, or men are from Mars, women are from Venus, whatever the hell they say. No, we from the earth, but we got 2 different natures. In our book, the Holy Quran, in Surah 336, it says, and the male is not like the female. We're 2 twin halves of a single essence. We are the direct descendants of the originator. We are both made in the image and the likeness of God. We possess the same divine DNA, holy heredity, and God's genetic makeup, but the female is different than the male. And the male is different than the female. So there's a verse in the Bible in Ephesians 5:33, where there's a gender-specific command on what a man needs to do. All I need is one mic. All right, I hold it better, Pastor. I hold it better. Is it all right? Yeah. All right. What was I saying? Gender-specific commands, right? Ephesians 5:33. Look what it says. It says, And husbands, you must love your wife as you love yourself.
Yes, sir.
The verb is what? Love.
Yes, sir. 3
of y'all went to school. Okay, I'm going to try it. Okay, let's do another. And then next, now here are the sisters. And wives, you must respect your husbands. So the mathematics says that in order for a man to get the best out of the woman, he has to act with love.
Yes, sir.
But in order for a woman to get the best out of that man, she has to operate primarily from respect. Make no mistake about it, both male and female need love and respect, but love is water for a woman and respect is food. And respect is water for a man and love is food. You need much more water than you need food. Y'all still all right?
Yeah.
So, they did an interview in 2012 where they went all over the world interviewing women to find out what were they looking for in an ideal man. And do you know that they came up with 5 basic traits that they were looking for? Number one trait, a woman was looking for a man that would be loyal to her like she's loyal to him. Sisters, I already told y'all now. I know. I'm trying to help you out. Because you know y'all been one man women, but we have not been one woman man. And I'm putting it in the atmosphere. I'm going to defeat cheating. I'm going to have somebody coming home every night, loving you out loud, spoiling you for no reason at all. What? Loyalty. Number 2, she was looking for a man that would love her. One of the key things, I wish the sisters would, y'all could just tell the brothers, but y'all, listen, brother, look, I'm just going to drop it on you, the sisters going to have to hear it. First thing you got to do with the principle of love is say it as often as you can. You got it? Mm-hmm. Second, remember this. There's 3 phrases that will water a woman's soul like no other phrases will. And watch this. And sisters, tell me if I'm telling the truth. Bear witness if I am. I love you. I miss you. You are so beautiful. Huh? Now, brothers, you can't use all of them at the same time. You got to have proper distribution. Spread it out. Spread it out. I was in Miami and the brother, he was having a disagreement with his wife, and I had just told them this. And I'm sitting in the office today in the hallway. It wasn't a real serious disagreement. They just was going back and forth over where they was going to eat at, and they was going, and he said, they kept going, no, I said, well, he said, well, hold on, baby, look, wait a minute. I love you, I miss you, and you're beautiful. Can't put all of them 3 together in the wrong spirit. Let me tell you something else. If you really want to show love for her, do some of her responsibilities without her asking you to do it.
All right now.
Let her come home and you clean the house and
now.
you cook the dinner and
sir.
you wash the dishes.
There you go.
Let her come home and you did all the laundry properly.
He's dropping that down.
Sisters, I'm trying to help you out. So you know the black man, hell, it's a washing machine. Clothes. Throw all of it in there. We got the reds, the blacks, the greens, the whites, all of it in there. Come out everything pink. Properly do it.
Yes, you did.
Third thing the women were looking for was a man that would listen to them. Did you know that the male and the female are not alike? Women talk it out. men think it through. Brothers, I'm going to help y'all out. Y'all ready? That's why, sisters, whenever a man, even if he's bothered, you can ask him, he won't tell you. He'll just sit in his chair frustrated. You okay? Yeah, I'm good. And then the worst thing you can do is say, this is what I'm saying. You won't even talk to me. Now you a new problem on top of the other problem you already had on his head. Now see, a man wants to feel like that he's not a burden to his wife or to his children. He wants to think it through, talk to his God and himself, make a plan, work the plan, solve the problem, and leave you in peace. But women have to talk it through. So we as men have to learn how to master the art of listening. And for the record, listening is not just shaking your head to agree with sound. To listen means you got to try on the shoes of the one that's talking to you and try to understand it from their perspective. But most of the time, you know, when we listen to somebody right here talking to us, we like, yes. And all we doing is waiting for our turn to say something. We ain't heard nothing. But to listen means that you actually put your feet in their shoes and try to experience what they are experiencing when they're explaining what they're explaining. That's listening. Next thing that a woman was looking for was a man that would labor for her. Let me tell you something. One of the greatest turn-ons of a woman is when she got a hard-working man. Watch this, brothers. Watch this. Do you know that a woman will respect you as a man even if she make more money than you, as long as you a hard-working man? Am I telling the truth, sisters? Labor. See, as a man, we got to be hunters. We have to be go-getters. We have to be go-givers after we go get it. So one of the expressions of love, y'all okay, brothers? Spontaneous gift giving. Gifts for no reason at all. Huh? Look. Okay, I'm going to give you some free stuff. Hold hands sometime. Go on a walk sometime. Show affection without having to be in the bed. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, brothers, if you do this, I promise you, you'll get the best out of your woman. The last thing that she said, I converted into an L. She said that I need a man that got a good sense of humor. Laughter. See, laughter or a sense of humor really is a sense of security. Anytime that you a man in this world, especially a black man, and you can be navigating through a world that's diametrically opposed to you, and you can keep a good spirit, it shows your children, it shows your wife that you are a strong man. And it makes them feel more secure when they see you got a sense of humor. Now you got to be balanced with it though, brothers. You can't just make jokes at the wrong time. Come home and you see the lights is off. Wife, children, everybody bundled up in blankets and coats, freezing. And you come home in the dark. Hey, joke. Why did the chicken cross the road? Probably go get some heat. But have a sense of humor. Make each other laugh. You got that? Last but not least, they didn't add this to it, but they should have. My teacher said this, that an ignorant man will never make a good husband. So you can't just be somebody that's loyal, that loves, that listens, that labors and makes somebody laugh. You also have to be a learned black man. See, a woman wants to know that when she got a man in her life, that he's the primary positive soundboard that she can bounce ideas off of. And when she gives you something, because you got spiritual and empirical knowledge, you can take what she said, repackage it, and give it back to her better than she gave it to you. That's what makes a man get respect inside that home. Y'all all right? That's love. What about respect? Respect, you can convert that into an acronym. This is what you have to do as a woman to get the best out of your man. You know what an acronym is, right? An acronym is when you have a word, but every letter in the word represents another word. Like CIA is an acronym. It stands for the Cocaine Import Agency. FBI is an acronym, finding a black man to incarcerate. Media, most effective devil in America. You got a job? You just over broke. You want luck? You got to labor under correct knowledge. You can't have no rabbit foot and get it. How could a rabbit foot give you good luck when the rabbit you got it from used to have 4? And he couldn't have been too lucky if you got one of his. Now you get luck by laboring under correct knowledge. NAACP is an acronym. Negroes always asking Caucasians permission. Now that's not what it's supposed to be. That's what it has been now. We trying to get it right. We fix it. Pope is an acronym. Protector of pedophiles everywhere. That's what he's been doing. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm going to leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. So sisters, respect. The R in respect is simply just that. Show respect. The language of a man is honor. The language of a woman is security. Whenever a woman is in an environment where she feels safe and secure with no worrying about whether it's going to operate right, the bills are paid, and that you're going to be there and do what you're supposed to do, you bring out the softness in her that allows her to be the woman she wants to be. Likewise, sister, whenever you begin to honor and respect that man, just look, find a way to compliment him for the basic things that he does that you got used to that still means something. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Nothing wrong with thanking him for going through the whole 2024 without never having the lights cut off. Thank you for making sure that we had air conditioning in the summer and we got heat in the winter. Thank you for making sure that we always had Wi-Fi, we have cable, whatever. Just thank you for the basic stuff. That's showing respect. You all right? Mm-hmm. Check in with him and let him know what you're doing, when you're doing it, and where you're going to be. That don't make you less than him, but that makes him able to protect you. And it shows him respect. It'll go a long way. Second letter is what? E. Esteem him. This is showing respect to your man in front of other people he respects. So anytime you get your man and you're around your family, his family, or around people you know, and you start bragging about him in his presence to other people, I promise you that's going to go a long way, sister. You will get the best out of that man. Next is what? R-E. So I just seen a thinking cloud show up right there. It said, well, how is it that the man needs respect and the woman needs love, and Aretha Franklin? What? Didn't Aretha Franklin have a song? R-E-S-P-E-C-T? Mm-hmm. Find out what it means? But did you know that when she released that song, that was in 1967? Mm-hmm. It was originally released in 1965 by Otis Redding. A man wrote that song. When they interviewed Otis Redding, they asked him where did he get the inspiration for the song. He said, I was making a song to my wife. If Aretha Franklin had sung her own song, she would have said L-O-V-E. Find out what it means to me, sock it to me, sock it to me. But respect is the nature of the man. Y'all got that? Mm-hmm. So the next letter is what? S. Yes. Sisters. Okay, security, y'all ready? All right. Hey, I'm going to stand behind you, okay? So sisters, you got to bless his sight by keeping yourself beautiful. Can I tell you a secret? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that for every 1 pound we are overweight, it takes away 1% of our beauty appearance.
Come on now.
Some of the sisters, you are still beautiful now, 40 pounds overweight. But if you would lose that 40 pounds, you would have 40% more beauty to add to what you are. It bothers a man that you are dressed up and look good for the public. But when he come home, you got on Timberland boots, overalls, and a and your hair this short and your butt this big. I don't understand. I never figured it out. I don't understand. What the hell's the purpose? Why is the body so big? It ain't that much hair under there. Why is it like this?
All right now.
Now, let me tell you this. Watch this. Brothers, tell me if I'm telling the truth. I'm not saying you got to get all dolled up in no gown and put on a whole lot of makeup. Let me tell you this. Watch this. Men don't even like makeup. Am I telling the truth, brothers? No, you don't have, matter of fact, you don't even got to do nothing to your hair. Just slick it back. You ain't got to put on nothing sophisticated. Just put on some regular sweatpants and a shirt. You can be cute and comfortable. Is that right? Next thing in the S, smile at that man. Do you know, brothers, that the measure of the goodness and the greatness of a man is heavily judged by the size of the smile of his wife's face? If a man has a woman and she is always miserable, that's a sign that you don't have a good or great man with that woman. When you got a good or a great man, that woman is going to be happy and feel stress-free. Y'all all right, brothers? So you got to bless him with your smile, right? Next letter is what? P. Show him that he has power. Compliment his physical strength, his mental strength, and his emotional strength as often as you can. And if you say to him, you are so strong with this, you are such strong handling such and such, I promise you it's going to go a long way to get the best out of that man. Next letter is what? Another E. That means what you feed that man. What does he eat? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said this, sisters, that a woman should not just be a cook or even a chef, but you have to be a food scientist. And your laboratory is your kitchen. That means that you have to study the work of your man and begin to break down the nutrient composition that he would need the next day to make him perform to his optimal level. And when you get in the kitchen, you based off the kind of work that he does, there should be the appropriate amount of calories, carbohydrates, fiber, protein, amino acids. It should be a makeup of the natural nutrients that that man needs to operate at his best. And if you feed that man like that, and let me tell you something, the number one ingredient that you need to put in the food is not organic such and such and so and so. Get it if you can afford it. But the main ingredient that you got to put in the food you make for your man and your children, you got to put love in that pot. And do you know that if you put love into it, you'll be able to win that man and make him the best that he can be for you. Next is what? See? Show him compassion. Sisters, men are more sensitive than we act like we are. Be compassionate to him and realize that he is fragile and frail sometimes too. Last but not least, T. Train your children to love their father. Wow. If you got a man in your life and he's a good man, in the white man's world, the black man cannot be available for all the stuff that he wants to be available for his children if he's going to provide for his children. So you at home, you got to let your babies know, even though he don't catch the ball with you all the time, he's not at all the parent-teacher conferences, he might not make it to every game that you have, daddy's out there working, but know this, that when you sit on that couch, that's daddy's love that put that couch right there. That bed you got upstairs, that's daddy's love. And sisters, let me tell you something. If you began to cook good, real food for that man, putting love in that pot, and you are cute and comfortable, and you train those children to love their father, as soon as the keys began to jingle at the front door and that man's coming home, you got to tell him, look, your father's coming home. He's coming home. You got a clean house. The aroma of homemade bread is coming out of the kitchen. And then you got the aroma in the atmosphere, clean house, children run up to daddy, jump on his leg, jump on his neck, talking about how much they missed him and loved him. And then he looks over the shoulder and sees you back there cute and comfortable. I promise you, you would have converted your home into a spiritual recharge center, where both of y'all can come unplugged from this no good, wicked, white supremacist world and come to a place of love where you can extract from it peace and power. The home will be right. The hood will be right. And our health will be right. Thank you for listening. I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. Thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all. All praise to people of Allah. All praise. Thank y'all so much, sisters and brothers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Can y'all be seated real quick for us, real quick? Well, we want to, I'm going to tell you a secret. That's why I stepped out here, because what I thought I was going to say, I did not say. And I didn't want to get in the way of what I believe that the Lord of the worlds wanted me to say. So I had to step away from the notes so that I didn't say what the note said. But I think, did y'all get some news y'all can use? Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Did you notice that nothing that I mentioned was expensive? In fact, almost all of it was free. Nothing. All it is the change of habits. The only thing it costs is a little bit of discipline and a little focus. All those things can be done without having to make more money than you make right now, or spend money that you don't want to spend. You can do it for free. I want to ask today, sisters and brothers, they asked me to do it, and I don't have a problem with it. This was an event that was put on for free, but you know it costs money to put it together. I want to ask today if any of the sisters and brothers that are present, do we have some brothers and sisters that would do at least a $100 donation or better? Can I see some hands? I see my pastor Ballard back there said counting me in with 100. My brother, what's your name?
Preston Love.
Brother Preston Love?
Big money love.
Big money love. Brother Preston said 100. I see somebody over here. My brother Sal, brother Sal, 100. Y'all collecting it? QR codes on the walls. QR codes on the wall on both sides. Y'all need to do a digital payment. Brother Preston said he got cash. He got cash. Now don't pass it. You gotta walk and collect it. My brother, keep it in your hand and go collect it. So let me tell you a secret. Come wherever you see somebody's hand, go get the money. Just walk to him. Brother Preston, don't give him the 100, Brother Preston. No, don't give him the 100. That's our 100. Oh, he gonna give it to you. Anybody else with 100? I see my brother in the back, in the black. What's your name, sir? Brother Washington. My sister behind you. What's your name, Sister Queen? Sister Terry Crawford. Let's give all of them a round of applause. $100 for my sisters and our brothers to help us to offset the cost of all that we've done. Anybody else with 100? How many? My sister, what's your name, Sister Queen? Say it again. Sister Stacy. Let's give Sister Stacy a round of applause. $100. It's just a half a pair of Jordans now. It's one shoe. That's all it is. One shoe. How many of us can do some 50s? Some 50s. Raise your hand if you can do some 50s. My brother gonna do a 50 digital. We got any other 50s? 20s. Let me see some 20s. I see, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I seen some sisters, 6, 7, 8. Oh, but behind you, she had one. You would have gave her 20 if you had one, wouldn't you? That's right, you almost got mama in trouble. Don't worry about it. And you got a 24? Anybody? My brother, that's 13. And a 50, 20. Can you do me a favor, my brother right there in the back, 20? Can you give all these brothers and sisters a round of applause for everything that they gave? Whether it was a 20 or 50 or 100. And I don't think they do. I don't know. I just work here. I just work here. Somebody gave me some Bitcoin before. I kept it for a long time, and it went up, it went down, it went up, it went down, it went down, it went down, it went down, it went up, it went up, it went down, it went down. By the time 10 years came, I had the exact same amount of money I started with. 10 years later, I said, oh man, come on, man. So, maybe you didn't have a 50, a 20, or even 100, but I want to ask if you have anything you can give. You got a $5, a $1, $2, a 10, whatever you can give. If you have your WIC coupons, your EBT card, however y'all want to do it. No, I'm just playing. We can't do that. Church be shut down tomorrow. My young sister, she said, somebody gave her 20. You gave her 20. Y'all looked out. Thank y'all so much. Y'all look so beautiful today. And these young sisters and brothers, let me tell you something. Don't ever think to not bring children because they're not going to be able to pay attention like you can. Remember this. Everything that goes into the ears and the eyes is recorded. What happens is they're here. They heard this lecture. Some they didn't understand, some they did. And the reason they don't understand is because they don't have life experience or vocabulary to break it down. But guess what's going to happen? It's recorded on their brain cells. As they begin going through life, getting those experiences and expanding their vocabulary, their mind will be able to go back to their subconscious mind, pick it up and say, aha, this is what I can apply now to be a better man and a better woman as a young adult. So I thank you for bringing the young children. And look, remember this. If we brothers and sisters, my son is your nephew and your daughter is my niece. Right. And sometimes children can get a message better from the uncle or the aunt than they can from the mama and the daddy. Yeah. Am I telling the truth? Yeah. It happened to me. I was at the mosque. I was coming around the hallway one time. One of the brothers was talking to two brothers were talking to my son. And they were saying all the stuff I've been saying to my son. And I'm to be honest with you, I said it better. But lo and behold, I'm on the other side of the wall. They over on that side, and I'm listening. And my son's in there talking about, that's deep. I never thought of it like that. I was thinking, what, you don't? And I stopped myself. I said, what difference does it matter who gets the credit? As long as he got the message. And sometimes an uncle and an aunt can get through to the child better than mother and father. That's why before we were brought to America, we had an axiom, it takes a village to raise a child. So every chance you get, brothers and sisters, when you see a black child, that's a boy, that's your nephew. If you see a black child, that's a girl, that's your niece. Every chance you get, speak greatness into them, even if you don't know them. Let them know you can do anything you put your mind to. Let them know you're born to be great. Let them know that you love them. And you'll be surprised. Just imagine if everywhere a black child went, an uncle or aunt was speaking greatness into them. Yes. It's only a matter of time that the word will become flesh and dwell among those children. So I thank you all for whatever you could give today to help us to offset it. Can you do me a favor? Can you give everybody a round of applause that gave something, even those that wanted to give but didn't have it? I do want to let you know that we did bring the books with us. Is it okay for me to set these on the Kwanzaa table, Pastor? Is that okay? It's not a violation of the rules? Okay. So This is the latest book. This has been, when we released this book last year, this was the #1 selling book on Amazon for 2 months straight. And that's big because it takes, they release almost 38,000 books a day. And we held the #1 slot. And I promise you this, there's so many entertainers, well-known celebrities that are feeding from this book and have bought 50, 100 copies to pass to their families. So if you don't do nothing, make sure you get this book, Mathematics of the Mind. We also have with us 2 books that can help us to learn that science of mating that they never taught us. First one is Before You Say I Do. This is where Steve Harvey got the quote from that he was trying to make of me. You remember him saying, he said, there's a dude named Nuri Muhammad. Said the coldest thing. He was pretty accurate, but what I did say he got from this book. And what I said was that after choosing to believe, the most important decision you'll ever make in life after choosing to believe in God is choosing the right mate to spend the rest of your life with. For the mate you choose will either inspire you to grow into your greatness or they'll confine you to complacency. They'll be your other half or they'll make you half of yourself. The minister said it like this: a good relationship brings out the best in you and makes you more youthful. And a bad relationship will bring out the worst in you and cause you to age prematurely. So choose wisely. That's from this book, Before You Say I Do. So if you're looking for where you want to plant your love, or listen to this. As you hear these titles, don't just think about something good for yourself. What about your nieces, your nephews? What about your neighbors? What about your coworkers? What about people that you're working on trying to help? Think about a title that would be good for them, and let's give it to them as a gift. I'm going to come up front, sign it, and we can give it to them as a gift. So if you know somebody's trying to figure out where to plant their love, they need Before You Say I Do. If you or somebody has already planted your love and some weeds have grown in your relationship, you want to pull them weeds and sprinkle some fertilizer on it. Get after you say I do. Matter of fact, even if you're not married, get after you say I do, because proper preparation prevents a poor performance. So those 2. This was the book that released right before Mathematics of the Mind, A Well-Made Man. This book is designed for us as brothers to be able to take what we did is through the Quran, the Bible, the history, and in nature, we found the dominant traits of man in Scripture and male creatures in nature, and we packaged it in this book to help us to have a good template on how to become a well-made man. In this book, there's a chapter in here called How to Love a Black Woman that takes what you heard today and breaks it down 10 times more. Sister, this is good for you because you want to make sure that whoever you with is a well-made man, or if you can help them become one, you want them to become it. This book was the best-selling book of all time before Mathematics of the Mind. It's called The Black Woman, the Second Self of God. It's the same type of book for the men that is for the sisters, but it's just as good for the sisters. This will help us, brothers, to develop a healthy respect for our women, that it will make it easier for us to treat them right, that we can get the best out of them. Y'all got that? So those are those 2. Then we have Let This Mind Be in You. This is on the power of your mind, and it's multiple different subjects throughout Scripture that you can see to break it down. 7 Jewels of God. This goes into the characteristics, attributes of God, and it lays out exercises that we can do daily to be able to grow God in us. The goal of a believer should never be belief in God. The goal of a true believer is to become the God you say you believe in. This is a book designed to help you to do just that. Last but not least, this is a book written by my precious daughter, may Allah be pleased with her, called How to Heal and Hustle. This is an excellent tool to help you to navigate and keep your mental health healthy. Or if you got somebody that's struggling with mental health, get them this book. It has great exercises in it that will help them to redirect their energy and build self-confidence, help to take control of emotions, positive thinking. It's a great book. All of the books are $20. I just seen another thinking cloud. It's right there. It says, why didn't you show me those books before you took all my money in charity? Good news. We can take all forms of payment. We can take credit cards. We got the tap machine. We got everything you need. So you can come to Apple Pay. You can tap, Venmo, whatever y'all want to do, we can make it happen. But hopefully you'll come and shop with your brother before you shop with another. And we'll be out front to do that. I thank y'all so much, brothers and sisters. And I'm going to turn it back over to the hands of my sister.